Hello everybody, I am the Black Sigma, or you could just call me Eric, and I don't see Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kinda quiet around here today. You're right, Chief of Detectives seems the same, though. We need to look for other people to talk to. Yeah, I figured, but how do I get to the Chief's office? Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. Never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I shoulda known my luck would run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. I mean, I know roughly what happened. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. Wasn't just me, all the detectives thought so. Some of the facts were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. Murder weapon? The switchblade with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife wasn't the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. That case left behind scars on all of us. Right. Got the looks, he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. Just made detective. It was our first case together. He was 27 at the time, awarded the highest honor that day. The king of prosecutors. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Right. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as, that's right, day of the evidence transferal. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. Can't believe 2 years have gone by already. And tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case, we all knew that. Every detective involved in that investigation save one was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, I was demoted. Detective Goodman, if they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Sky. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Sky. Lana. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to prosecutor. Yeah, and Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different than when she was a detective. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? Enlightening, but I still need to talk to... He was the one who used falsified evidence to get the guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone's Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. I see. But also, am I able to get to the Chief of Police's office? No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. What happened in the evidence room? No one was murdered there at 5:15. Looks like we just ended up making Lana look more guilty. We've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Why can I not go to the head of the police department's office? I know there's something there. If you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did in the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. Yeah, festive is normally the word for that, but, sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator up to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go up there? We aren't even officers. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limit. Well, what are we gonna do? What are we waiting for? Let's go up there. Even though he just told us we... Excuse me, officer... Chief of Police Gant. Why the hell do you have a giant pipe organ in the middle of your office? Like, damn it, this is massive. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out this big that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. Right. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was. Hello, Gant. Do you mind explaining why your office looks like a cathedral? Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, righto, how have you been? Have you been swimming lately? No I haven't. I've been kinda busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Ah, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Like... No, Phoenix, I'm definitely able to put my picture on it. My finger on it, I mean. I know exactly what's wrong with that picture. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all about that day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over, there's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out, I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. Seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean, like, a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Let's try just walking back in. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like he's in a bad position. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Why would Edgeworth be blamed? He didn't know the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party for that, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor's kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now, with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime, my treat. Yes sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay Dick? Yes sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Edgeworth might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. The SL9 file. Did you find anything? Only evidence Dark left behind during his final attack. During his final attack, when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl. Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized that was Emma. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. No, let's see, I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Nah, I forget, it's all written somewhere in here. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Might jog his memory. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just run-of-the-mill businessman. What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. It was an accident? An accident that transformed him into an animal. Killed a man. Kid walked by just then, killed him too, burying the bodies. Jogger came upon the scene, killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness, aka Emma. Anyway, you said something about the murder weapon in the case? About this? Hey, is that... has a tag attached to it, SL9. Believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of? What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker, and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. What is it? Before you forget again. This knife. It was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice it. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. It was in the victim, Neil Marshall. It was found deep inside the stab wound. And it was a match? You bet, down to the last fiber. It's pretty conclusive. And yet the wound itself did not match the knife. We were told this earlier. How would the broken tip of the knife be in that wound if we say this wasn't the murder weapon? Well, what if, let's say, he was stabbed with one knife that was not this one, but this one was then stabbed into the same hole, purposely broken, and extracted. It would explain the wound looking odd, to say the least. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should talk to Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern him. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. Chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It's Detective Goodman's. Won't work either. The data was deleted on the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting in there. Wonder if there's something we could show him to make him change his mind. Something, I'm guessing, that would prove that that office is related to this case. In which case, I would present this photo. Because that jar in the background just so happens to be a match for the jar from the SL9 incident. About that jar, I've seen it somewhere before. Maybe it's just one of those memories people have from previous lives. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Where could I have seen that before? In this photo. And yet you refuse to tell me. What about the SL9 file? Are you gonna let me in the office for that? He's looking into the case for Edgeworth. I need him to let me into that office. And to do that, I need to prove that that office is connected to this case. But he just won't allow it. Oh my god. Gumshoe, Gumshoe, Gumshoe. You are not the sharpest knife in the drawer. If you'll pardon the expression. Oh, lost item report, huh? Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the bat. Well, I'm a master of misplacement, you know. Master? That has such a cool ring to it. The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here. Well, a higher power. Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold evidence. Okay, that wasn't going where I thought it was going. Because it can only be submitted to the Chief of Police, I thought he'd, not recognize the item report, and then it's like, hey, we need to submit this to the Chief of Police. Can we go in his office? No. Oh? Presenting Gumshoe with the record of cards, do you happen to know who all the sevens are? The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered alongside that card holder. 777777777? That's 17 too many, Detective. Executive Officer. I have a hunch. Oh, come on! That's still not what you need to let me in? Okay, I've presented literally everything I have to him. Meaning there's nothing I can show him right now that'd make him change his mind. I wonder if Edgeworth is here. There he is! Looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Actually, I'm gonna steal whatever you were writing there. Oh. Hey, Edgeworth! This is not a distraction. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground! Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of If you're having trouble, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. It feels like a dick move, but I wonder if I can use it for anything. Edgeworth, you are not going to retire as a prosecutor. There may have been wrongs in your past, but just like with DL6, those aren't your fault. You did what you thought was best. You're a good man, Edgeworth. Reconsider your retirement. But I have something else I need to do. Excuse me. Would either of you care for a 1/4 pound of roast beef? Mr. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in SL9. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence for that case was due for transferal. This isn't a coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? Yeah. Roast beef is meant to be savoured when eaten. Look, I've no time to talk to you right now. I have more important things to be doing, like getting into Gant's office. Okay, Gumshoe isn't there anymore. You know what? Guess I do have time to talk to you. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. Because of his brother's death, they were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Lana Skye, my sister, the best of the best were put on that case, led by that legendary duo, Lana and Chief Gant. And the legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up with our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out, with the forging of evidence. Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. Don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties without so much as an explanation. Lana became prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. Being used? By who? We'll find out in a second. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lana as second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of things. Gant's magnetism, in particular, most unreal. By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence, you mean? Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. He had such a knack for finding the perfect evidence. It's more likely he faked it. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her, myself included. I was a fool. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from the shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Anyway, she was being used. Thanks to Chief Gant's influence, she made prosecutor. Having solved the case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. Last, finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Ms. Star. You listen to me, rookie. Takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Right. Now, to get to the crime scene. Or not. Okay, since Gumshoe isn't back, maybe talking to Edgeworth about some new evidence will buy us time. For example, this picture was hanging in Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding is different than the one that currently exists. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling us? Simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Contradiction? You want to tell us more about that? Oh my god, I'm a dumbass. I didn't talk to him about anything, apparently. No excuse for what he's done. But you didn't know. You up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. Seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use what I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Right. Could you tell us again about what happened the day of the murder? You were participating in a ceremony at the time, right? Yep, because you were awarded the King of Prosecutors trophy, he couldn't skip the ceremony, you finished up at the office first, didn't plan on returning that day until he was asked to take the screwdriver back that Gant asked him to hold on to. You came back here because the chief asked you to? Anyway, the difference in the trophy. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Well, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. Now, please tell me I can carry on back to the office of said chief. Yep. And I will do so in the next episode. Bye.